A young girl named Sharri lived in a quiet village surrounded by gentle hills and sprawling meadows. Sharri was full of energy and loved to run. Every day after school, she would race through the fields, her feet barely touching the ground as she sped along the dirt paths. She loved the feeling of the wind in her hair and the sun on her face as she ran faster and faster. Sharri dreamed of one day becoming the fastest runner in the world. She admired the athletes she saw on TV, especially the Olympic champions who ran with such grace and speed. But in her small town, there were no big races or fancy tracks, just open fields and a lot of determination. Sharri trained every day, running up hills, around trees, and through the fields. She set up small obstacles for herself, like jumping over fallen logs or racing against her own shadow. No matter how tired she got, Sharri kept pushing herself, always imagining what it would be like to stand on the Olympic podium with a gold medal around her neck. One day, a local coach noticed Sharri running through the fields. Impressed by her speed and dedication, the coach invited Sharri to join a nearby track team. Sharri was thrilled. She started training with the team, learning how to run even faster and stronger. She practiced on a real track, learning techniques to improve her speed and endurance. Sharri entered her first race with the team, her heart pounding with excitement and nerves. She lined up with the other runners, her small frame dwarfed by the taller, more experienced athletes beside her. But when the race began, all her training kicked in. Sharri focused on the finish line, her legs pumping as she ran with all her might. To everyone's surprise, Sharri finished the race in first place. Her coach and teammates cheered, but Sharri didn't stop there. She continued to train, entering more races and winning every time. Her determination and love for running only grew stronger. Years passed, and Sharri's hard work paid off. She was selected to compete in the national championships, where the best runners from all over the country gathered. The stakes were higher, and the competition was tougher, but Sharri didn't let that stop her. She raced with all her heart, and once again, she crossed the finish line first. Sharri's victories caught the attention of people far beyond her small town. Soon, she was invited to join the national team and compete in the biggest race of all, the Olympics. Sharri's dream was coming true. When the day of the Olympic race arrived, Sharri stood on the track, surrounded by the world's fastest runners. The stadium was filled with cheering crowds, and the Olympic flame burned brightly in the distance. Sharri took a deep breath, remembering all the years of training, the races won and lost, and the endless miles she had run through those open fields. The race began, and Sharri ran like never before. She pushed herself to her limits, her heart racing with every step. As she neared the finish line, the roar of the crowd grew louder. With one final burst of speed, Sharri crossed the finish line, her feet barely touching the ground. Sharri looked up at the scoreboard and saw her name at the top. She had won the gold medal. The crowd erupted in applause, and Sharri's heart swelled with pride. She stood on the podium, the gold medal around her neck. Sharri's hard work paid off in the end. Determination indeed begets success.